the illusion of morality. We all like to believe that we are the heroes of our own stories. We imagine that if we were placed in Nazi Germany or during the dark ages of history, we would be the ones standing up for justice, the ones risking our lives to save the innocent. But is that actually true? Psychology suggests a much more uncomfortable reality. Most of the atrocities in human history weren't committed by monsters or psychopaths. They were committed by ordinary people, fathers, mothers, and neighbors, who were simply following orders or conforming to their environment. This is what we call the architecture of evil. It's not about a person being born bad. It's about how certain psychological structures can dismantle a person's moral compass, turning an average citizen into a participant in unimaginable cruelty. In a high-stakes society like America, where group identity and authority are constantly shifting, understanding this phenomenon isn't just an academic exercise. It is a survival skill for your soul. The power of the uniform. De-individuation. One of the most terrifying concepts in social psychology is de-individuation. This is what happens when you lose your sense of self and become part of a group or a role. Think back to the infamous Stanford Prison Experiment. Ordinary college students, within days of being given a guard uniform and a pair of sunglasses, began to psychologically torture their fellow students who were playing prisoners. Why? Because they no longer saw themselves as individuals. They saw themselves as the role. When you strip away a person's name and give them a number or a uniform, you strip away their accountability. In the modern digital age, this happens behind the anonymity of a screen. We join online mobs, we attack strangers, and we say things we would never say in person because we have de-individualized ourselves. We feel that since everyone else is doing it, we are no longer responsible for our own actions. Obedience and the authority trap. In the 1960s, Yale psychologist Stanley Miilgram conducted an experiment that shocked the world. He asked ordinary people to deliver what they thought were lethal electric shocks to a stranger, simply because a man in a white lab coat told them to. To everyone's horror, over 60% of participants went all the way to the maximum voltage. They didn't do it because they were sadists. They did it because they were conditioned to obey authority. This is a fundamental part of the architecture of evil, the displacement of responsibility. When someone in power tells us what to do, our brain has a tendency to stop asking, "Is this right?" and starts asking, "Am I doing this correctly?" We become cogs in a machine, and a cog doesn't feel guilty for what the machine does. This blind obedience is the engine that drives most of the world's systematic cruelty. The dehumanization engine. Cruelty requires a mental trick. You have to stop seeing the other person as human. This is called dehumanization. Throughout history, this has been done by using specific language, calling people pests, enemies, or statistics. Once you remove the humanity of your victim, your brain's empathy centers shut down. In today's world, this happens through political polarization. We stop seeing the other side as people with families and dreams, and we start seeing them as obstacles to our progress. This is the final stage of the architecture of evil. When we stop recognizing the sacred value of an individual life, we open the door for anything to happen. Evil doesn't always start with a grand plan. It starts with a small compromise of your values and the silent justification that it's for the greater good. Building your moral shield. So how do we prevent ourselves from being part of this architecture? The answer lies in critical individuality. You must consciously cultivate the habit of questioning authority and recognizing the humanity in everyone, especially those you disagree with. You have to realize that you are capable of darkness. Only by acknowledging your capacity for evil can you truly choose to be good. Goodness isn't a passive state. It's an active daily choice to resist the pull of the crowd. In a world that constantly tries to make you part of a mob, the most revolutionary thing you can do is remain a thinking, feeling, and independent human being. The line between good and evil runs through every human heart. The question isn't whether you are capable of darkness, but whether you have the awareness to choose the light every single day. True strength is staying true to your values when the world demands your conformity. What would you have done in these experiments? Be honest with yourself, and let us know your thoughts below. Power and psychology are a dangerous mix. Stay informed by subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching.